Most movies in Hollywood follow the three-act structure: setup, confrontation, and resolution. Call it the Hollywood Bible. There's the first act, which is about establishing the main characters. Here, we get their backgrounds, their relationship dynamics, and a peek into the world they live in. Then at some point, we get an inciting incident that affects the norm and confronts the protagonist, and then they have to deal with that incident. Dealing with it creates a dramatic situation that changes the protagonist's world and raises the stakes. So the first act comes to an end, and then we get the second act. Yeah, we see the protagonist living that new situation. Somehow, dealing with the inciting incident in the first act has created a much more dangerous reality. And surviving this reality, they have to level up. So, this is what the second act is about: leveling up. They make decisions that raise questions, promise consequences, and change who they are. So now, the second act comes to an end, and then we get the third act. Yeah, we get the resolution. Questions are answered, and consequences are fulfilled. The seeds planted in the second act, whether good or bad, all come together to make a play here. And then we get the climax. You know what? Let's take The Dark Knight for instance. We get the first act, an introduction of the main characters, their words, and their motivations. This guy is a billionaire, but he fights crime in the night. And there's this guy, a new face in the crime world, who's gradually becoming famous. He's different, but Batman doesn't know that yet. And then there's an inciting incident. The new guy murdered the police commissioner and created a level of chaos that has never before been seen in the city. Who is this guy?
Some men aren't looking for anything logical, like money. They can't be bought, bullied, reasoned, or negotiated with. Some men just want to watch the world burn.
So that kind of takes us to the second act. Batman is dealing with something different here. And especially the city survives this new reality. Something has to change. So what does Batman do? First, he tries to give in, but things get better. But then they get much worse. The villain is even crazier than he realizes. It's a completely different reality from what it used to be. He simply has to level up. The stakes are higher now. So decisions are made. Bold decisions, courageous decisions, even unethical ones.
Spying on 30 million people isn't part of my job description.
This is an audio sample. If he talks within range of any phone in the city, you can triangulate his position.
I'll help you this one time. But consider this my resignation. As long as this machine is at Wayne Enterprises, I won't be.
When you're finished, type in your name.
So what will happen now? Will the city survive the Joker? Will Batman win? And what will his world look like even if he wins? So that kind of takes us to the third act, resolution. We get answers and consequences. The city survives the Joker. Batman wins, but his world will never be the same again. Now back to Scarface.
Send this bastard to Freedom Town. Let them take a look at him.
Look at
Get
that.
out of here.
You know something? Hey, you can send me anywhere. Here, there, this, that. It don't matter. There's nothing you can do to me that Castro has not already done.
Get him out of here.
Scarface is a remake of the 1932 film with the same title. It follows the life of Tony Montana, a Cuban immigrant who travels to America via the Mariel boat lift and works his way from a refugee to an overlord of the drug empire. If you haven't seen this movie but the name sounds familiar, that's because you're a hip hop fan. Scarface also follows the three-act structure. In the first act, we get to know about his current status, a refugee. Then his background, an ex-military who hates communist, has an estranged mother, an affectionate sister, and a loyal friend. Then we get to know about his core traits, the things that make him an intriguing character. He's insanely ambitious, strategic, and is driven by a belief that the world has treated him badly, that he's owed some form of reparation. So, he's very sensitive, really ravenous, and freaking paranoid. That's Tony Montana.
You big shot friend better come up with something soon. I didn't come to the United States to break my fucking back, Bill.
Hey, he's coming, okay? What do you want from me?
Coño, fuck, man.
And then we get an inciting incident. He has a face off with his boss, that then leads to a war, and then eventually the death of his boss. So he becomes the boss, and now the stakes are higher. Just a while ago, he was a refugee, and now he has a new reality where only the paranoid and highly strategic survive. How does he handle this new reality? We are in the second act. But what happens next is weird. After the inciting incident, what we get is a montage that shows Tony married the woman he loves. Now has a lot of money, has a lot of real estate, and is freaking wealthy. And that's not the problem, really. The use of montage to convey the passage of time and compress the narrative is popular in cinema, and even encouraged when used strategically. But I don't think you're supposed to use a montage as a substitute for the entire second act, especially when the montage does not even perform the role of a second act. Yet, somehow, after the montage in Scarface, the next few scenes are about Tony's relationship with his wife getting messy, Tony being even more paranoid than we knew he was, and Tony gradually turning into a junkie. These are consequences. So, what are the things he did between taking over after killing his boss and now that created these consequences? Basically, where is the second act? There is no second act. The closest to the second act is that the consequences, which we don't know how we arrived at, started to bring up questions. Like, is he going to get so paranoid to the extent that he would develop a distrust for everyone around him, including his best friend? And how do things end for a drug lord who becomes a junkie? But because we don't know the events that created the consequences, we can't really engage with these questions like we did with the Dark Knight. It's bad writing, and it kind of skewed the perception of the movie because we had the thing going for a while. I mean, there were disappointments early on, like Frank Lopez is just a bad character. So the writing was never top notch or something, but it was satisfying. For a moment or two, we had a great movie. But the linkage, that writing, that moment, you just can't shake it off. You can't. Although we did live with something.
You wanna play games? Okay. I'll play with you. Come on. Okay. You wanna play rough? Okay. Say hello to my little friend.
Hi there. If this is the first time seeing this channel, then welcome to the fold. My name is Peter, and I think if you like this video, then you should watch this one about Shawshank Redemption and this one about Zone of Interest. And maybe like and subscribe. This is a new channel, and liking and subscribing actually goes a long way. So, peace.